What's up everyone, this is All I Talk is Tech, and a minimalistic iPhone setup is something most people are trying to achieve on their iOS device, so that way they can increase productivity and practicality on their iPhone. But in this video, I'm going to be showing you my incredibly cluttered iPhone setup and why I believe it's even more practical than an organized version of this setup, and at least how I function. So if you guys have a cluttered iPhone setup, you can get the best use out of it. Okay, so my iPhone setup is using an iPhone 10, and on the first page, I just have my wallpaper that is displayed, and you can do this just by moving all the application to the next page. Now, I have an insane amount of applications on my iPhone. This device is 64 gigabytes, and there is a way to basically get unlimited apps on your iPhone no matter what your storage is, so I will get into that later. But basically, there is no structure on my home screen whatsoever. There are periods in time where I have made folders, and then I just leave them and abandon those folders and continue adding applications on the home screen. So how do I function? How do I find applications on my home screen? Because I notice a lot of people that do have an organized setup, they always look for their app. If they have an organized setup using nice folders and color code them, they go to that folder and then they scroll over in the folder to find their app. But I believe that my setup is more practical than an organized setup, so I will be explaining all of that in this video. Okay, so my secret to being able to access applications quicker than someone with an organized iPhone setup is the Spotlight search. A lot of people kind of know what this is, but if you truly take advantage of this, this can take your iPhone user experience to the next level. So what's really great about this is you can pretty much have a platter with your most recently used applications that Siri will provide to you, and you basically never have to scroll on your home screen to find applications. And when you do, you can just search through it on the Spotlight search. So you never have to ever scroll through your iPhone folders or home screen and things like that. You don't need to worry about taking time to organize and categorize your applications, because I believe that the amount of time it would take to categorize these applications, that would take so much more time necessary than if I were to just use Spotlight search. So you may have saw that I have an insane amount of applications on my iPhone, and I only have 64 gigabytes. So how is that possible? Well, I use a feature called Offload Applications. This can be found in the iTunes and App Store section inside of settings, and if you turn this on, basically what happens is Apple takes the most used applications on your iPhone and downloads them, and any other application is stored in the cloud. So that way when you do need it, it temporarily downloads it for use, and it saves all your data, and then it will get rid of it when you're done using that application if it hasn't been touched in a long period of time. Now on my home screen, the reason it also looks very ugly is that I save websites to my home screen. So as an iOS YouTuber, I'm constantly doing research on really cool information out there that I might want to make videos on, or for example, I'm just learning about personal finance or other things that interest me in life. For example, this is a wallpaper website, and I like saving websites in a place that I can easily access them, and so I save it to my home screen. And so my home screen is basically just a list of a bunch of websites, and I love that. It looks incredibly disorganized, but that is the way that I take advantage of the home screen on my iOS device. Now, something you guys may not have known is that if you ever want to look something up on the internet, you might basically go to your iPhone folder and open up Safari, and that takes a little bit of time, or you might go to the Spotlight search and search Safari. But what I typically do is I just immediately swipe down for Spotlight search and then search your question inside of Spotlight search. It has a built-in internet browser, so you never really have to visit Safari, and I think that is incredibly practical. It even has a built-in calculator, so I pretty much spend the majority of my time on my iPhone inside of Spotlight search. I think it's amazing, and it's a feature that people should use more often that many people don't even know about. Spotlight search even has a built-in calculator, so you can do quick math equations and things like that. You can even ask questions, because Spotlight search basically just is a text-based Siri. So rather than asking Siri questions using your voice, you just type it in the search bar. Now, in order for me to basically distract myself from all the clutter on the other pages of the home screen, I have the first page blank, and I have my most used applications on the dock. And this basically looks like my iPhone is very well thought out and laid out. It looks very nice and minimalistic, and so the other pages basically just act as storage, and I don't need to take the time to organize them. What's also great about my setup is that there are so many applications that if somebody wanted to find something on my iPhone, they would have to scroll forever and search every single application in order to find the one specifically that they're looking to have access to. Now, typically you could just use Spotlight Search, but what's great about this is you can turn off Spotlight Search specific for applications. So maybe, for example, if there's an application that I don't want people to have access to, I can go ahead and go to that individual application and turn off its Spotlight Search accessibility feature. And so basically what that means is if someone searches up that application, it won't appear, and the only way they can find it is on the home screen. But because my home screen is so disorganized and cluttered, they'll never be able to find it. So it's actually very practical. If you had an organized iPhone setup and you had Spotlight Search turned off for the specific application, it would only take them a matter of seconds to find your application. So I do think that this is very useful. I also spend a lot of my time in the widget panel because this is also like a Spotlight Search on steroids. It gives me quick access to information rather than me having to go inside of an application. So I do find this very handy whenever I'm using my iPhone. I typically turn on my iPhone and immediately go to the widget panel, and then from there I'm able to swipe down and access the Spotlight Search in order to open up the application I'm about to use. So that is basically just my reasoning as to why my iPhone home screen setup is so disorganized, is mainly because it's more practical for me. I don't really need or the desire to organize my home screen because this setup works perfectly for me. So thank you so much for watching, and as always, peace.